There is always this immense pressure at the beginning of the year to glow up, meet your goals, and plan your life to a T. I have fallen into this trap, as I'm sure a lot of you have. We have lost the art of growing and living. This year, I'd like to try something different. I'd like to live. It is not common to make $100K or $1 million in a day or even a year. There is no set in stone or proven way to lose 10 pounds in a month or buy a luxury car off the lot after only working hard for a few months. We all believe these things are possible based off of the internet. It's no problem to achieve what you want, but you should understand that you will have to work. You will have to work very hard for what it is that you want. And that is something that I have learned in the last year and kind of what I've experienced from this challenge. So I'm going to live, and I'm going to live my wildest dreams. And we'll see where that takes me. But before then, let's talk about. Hi guys, I just wanted to drop in really quick and do a little disclaimer. I just want to do a friendly reminder that I'm sharing this video based on my personal experiences and thoughts, and this journey of self-help and growth looks different for everyone, and what works for me might not work for you, and what works for you probably won't work for me, which is exactly why I wanted to do this video, because again, I did see a really big gap, and everyone's always talking about how they're succeeding at the 75 hard, but no one's ever talking about how they're not succeeding and maybe something different that might have worked for them. And it's totally okay. Everyone is completely different. Always remember to listen to yourself and consult professionals such as a mentor, a trusted adult, or a therapist. And if you need any extra support, there are several resources online. I will be linking some down below in the description bar. And self-care is just about what's doing best for you. So we're all on a very unique path, and that's kind of what I hope to share on my channel, is us 20-somethings just learning to live and learning what works for us and what makes sense for us. So, love you! Hi guys, my name is Syncerety. This is my first YouTube video. I'm really nervous. If you can tell, I don't want to talk about it. I have always had a dream to have a YouTube channel. I actually started a YouTube channel on this exact channel about 4 or 5 years ago, and I deleted all of the videos because I was so scared of people seeing me and being perceived. And yeah, so back in September, I decided to start a 75 hard challenge. I made the challenge way more complicated than it had to be because I didn't like the original rules, and I failed immensely. And that's kind of what I want to talk about today. But first, I want to talk about what is the 75 hard challenge. Sorry guys, if you see me looking down over here, it's because I'm waiting for my iPad, my notes. The challenge that has over 2 billion views on TikTok. The 75 hard challenge first originated in 2019, created by Andy Frisella. I hope I'm saying his name right. If I'm not, no beef, Andy. 75 Hard was created to build skills such as mental toughness, confidence, self-esteem, self-worth, self-belief, fortitude, and grit. It's meant to be difficult. He based the 75 Hard Challenge on the Ironman competitions, originating in 1978 in the Hawaiian island of Oahu. A triathlon race completed in 17 hours consisting of 2.4 miles of swimming, 112 miles of biking, and 26.2 miles of running. The race began as a bet between swimmers, cyclists, and runners to see who was the most fit. The fastest times completed were Britt Chrissy Wellington in 2011 at 8 hours, 18 minutes, and 13 seconds, and Jan Frandino, I'll put his name on the screen, in 2016 at 7 hours, 35 minutes, and 39 seconds. That's very impressive. Frisella interviewed James Lawrence, the Iron Cowboy, who completed 50 Ironman races stretched over 50 days in all 50 states. Lawrence believed that these races exercised his mental toughness. But is running 50 races back-to-back the healthiest way to create mental toughness? And is sticking to 6 daily tasks, all of which are very time-consuming, the answer either? Well, let's explore that. First, let's talk about what the challenge entails. The challenge consists of 6 tasks that you must complete every day, and if you don't complete all of the 6 tasks every day, you have to restart at day 1. You must follow a structured diet. It can be one of your choice, and you cannot switch at all during the 75 days. You can have no alcohol or cheat meals. You must do 2 45-minute workouts, one of which is outside, no days off. Rain, sleet, snow, doesn't matter. And you must drink 1 gallon of water every day. You must read 10 pages of a non-fiction physical book, no audiobooks, no podcasts, a physical book. And you must take a daily progress photo. If you miss any of them, like I just said, you have to restart the challenge. These rules are strenuous, and I can't imagine getting to day 15 and forgetting to take a progress photo and then having to restart. I'd kill myself, but that's just me. But I did see somewhere, I think it was on like a Reddit page, or I think it was Andy himself that said, just set a timer so you do it every day at the same time, which makes sense. And because I think the rules are so strenuous, I just felt like that was a commitment that maybe I couldn't make every single day for 75 days. But maybe I might try it again, I don't know. Once that challenge was created, then the 75 soft was created, which was a little bit easier. 5 daily tasks that you have to do. 1 is follow a diet. I don't know if cheat meals are allowed, but I'm guessing they are, because 2 is only drink on social occasions. And you have to do 1 45-minute workout, indoor or outdoor, your choice, 4 days a week with 1 active recovery day. 3 liters of water, 5 pages of a book of any genre, and it can be physical or an audiobook, which sounds more doable, but isn't the 75-hour challenge. I looked up both of the tasks, and even after trying to accomplish this challenge myself, I had the question of how much of this is necessary to do daily to accomplish your goals. I get that this challenge is for a specific group of people, but I think a lot of people with the virality of this challenge has tried it and maybe failed, and I also wonder what they did for your self-worth and for your goals in general. And part 3, we will get into my experience with the challenge more. Kind of hinting at it a little bit, but the video is broken down into chapters, so if you want to skip there, you can. But I didn't feel like either of those challenges would get me to the goals that I wanted to accomplish. So again, we'll get to that later. Anyone that is committed to doing good research, of course I had to research who Andy Frisella was. And it was actually pretty interesting because he has a digital footprint, so it wasn't that hard. Andy Frisella is a 40-year-old American entrepreneur from Missouri. Andy Frisella has founded several companies, including supplement products, sports products, music distribution, and a personal brand marketing company, I'm guessing. I don't know. His net worth is $100 million. Good for him. Andy looked up to his dad as a kid, and he enjoyed sports. He's always been very competitive and mentally strong. Andy enjoyed working on his podcast called MFCEO Project from 2015 to 2018, where he shares his blunt opinions and advice, as well as his teachings for aspiring entrepreneurs. He now works on his podcast he created called Real AF with Andy Frisella. If you watch the Real AF podcast, some conversations may be considered controversial, but I mean, everyone has the right to be them. So after I did that research, I kind of wanted to do a little bit more research on people who have failed the challenge and people who have succeeded with the challenge. And an article that I came across was a Women's Health magazine article. It was a woman named Billy. I don't know how to say her last name, but it will be on the screen. And this is a direct quote from the article. For context, I am overweight and unfit. In 2023, I joined a gym and started exercising more consistently. But the parameters of the 75 hard challenge, which coincidentally had over 200 billion views on TikTok, weren't just a step up from what I was doing physically. It was a different universe mentally. On that, and the several other billions of videos online about people completing the 75 hard challenge. But I saw a gap in people talking about how the 75 hard challenge kind of correlates with a fad diet, because it is only 75 days. And I get the point of the 75 days is to build mental toughness, but it just reminded me of a fad diet. So now let's talk about the history of fad diets. A fad diet is a trendy dietary pattern known to be a quick fix for long-term patterns. Characteristics of this diet are rapid weight loss and consistent scientific evidence, detrimental for those with chronic diseases, maintenance issues, promotes short-term changes, nutritionally inadequate, and missing food groups. Now, a few things stuck out to me with that. Of course, if you've read through the website of how the 75 hard challenge is supposed to go, they do advise that you speak with your doctor. They do advise that you find a dietary plan that works for you. But the part about promote short-term changes and maintenance issues, that could be an issue with the challenge only being 75 days. What happens day 76? What happens day 77? And again, this challenge is to build mental toughness and grit. But humans are humans, and that has to be detrimental to your growth, and we'll get into that because there is some Reddit discord on that. But back to the history of fad diets. The very first diet on document was the water and vinegar diet, and it was created in the 1820s by Lord Bryan. The second one that I came across was the high fiber diet, created in 1930 by the creator of graham crackers, whatever his name is. It might be on the screen. I don't know if I can find it. I don't know. And then the low carb diet, created in 1863 by Englishman William Banting. The cabbage soup diet, popularized in the 1950s by celebrities eating nothing, which consisted of eating nothing but cabbage soup for 7 days. The 18-day diet, popular in the late 1920s and early 1930s, is a diet that consists of eating an entire grapefruit, I believe, after every meal. The Scarsdale diet is a high-protein, low-carb diet created in the 1970s by Herman Tanower. The Atkins diet was created in 1970s. It is a low-carb, high-protein that was developed by cardiologist Dr. Robert Atkins. This diet was promoted as a quick weight loss plan based on a lifestyle change in eating habits. Atkins believed that metabolic imbalance resulting from carbohydrate consumption is the major cause of obesity. He has claimed that this is the easiest high energy diet that mobilizes fats more than any other diet for weight loss. Which, those last two didn't sound that bad, but they still technically, especially the last Atkins diet, because it was supposed to be a lifestyle change, and that's more of the point when, going into these challenges is making sure that you know that this is a wellness journey and this is a lifestyle change, and this isn't something that you're just doing for 75 days. This is something that you're committing to for the long run, which was probably why I failed. So again, back to what happens day 76. According to Andy Frisella, you start phase 1, which is a 30-day extension of the 75-part challenge. You start day 76. You do the regular things that you've been doing, all 6 of those things, but you add 3 more things. A 5-minute cold shower, you do 3 critical power tasks, and you do 10 minutes of visualization every day. And if you fail any of those, you start back at day 1. Yeah. Whew. I mean, but those 3 things don't sound like that's much to add, especially if you've already been doing the 6 tasks every day. So I'm sure that's not that hard. Another really interesting thing about the research that I did was all the Reddit discourse that I found. There was a lot of people feeling guilty about then day 76 or 77 breaking their diet or not working out twice a day, and then wanting to start phase 1, which I find really admirable. Because at this point, they have found a way to make this a lifestyle change. That's very cool. But then after doing that research of like reading through what was happening on the Reddit discourse, I began to ask myself, what happens to your confidence if you fail? And that's my whole problem with this challenge. It's too unforgiving. When you're trying to achieve your higher self or your ideal self, or however you want to think about it, you can't do that in 75 days. And most of those people, a lot of people are getting really good results from this challenge, but it's still, the point of the challenge is the mental shift. And sometimes for some people that can happen in 20 days, for some people that can happen in 75 days, for some people that happens in 2 years. It depends on where you are and what you're trying to accomplish. What is it that you're trying to go for? So I think this challenge would be a great stepping stone for anyone that's just trying to get out there and just trying to get started. But when you're trying to achieve something, menial tasks such as drinking a gallon of water every day, for me, I've tried to do that before and I just pee all day. It's not fun. I drink the amount of water that my doctor recommended, and for me, that's 3 liters. I don't need another liter of water to make myself feel accomplished. That's just me. To achieve something, it takes consistency, which comes through discipline. I saw a video from another creator. I will try to link it if I can find it, but she was talking about military discipline, which is also something that comes up a lot in this challenge because it's kind of a militant challenge. I think that's really the point of it. Found the document that she was speaking on in her video, and it was about discipline B and discipline A, and what military discipline is. Military discipline is defined as a set of attributes that can be grouped into 2 complementary categories, each necessary to enhance a soldier's individual and combative effectiveness. The first category is discipline B. Discipline B consists of the externally forced and learned habitual behavior responses, functions of obedience, attention to detail, restraint, and stress resistance. So that would be like basically like boot camp, when they're getting screamed at all day or whatever happens in the military. I don't know. Discipline A, discipline attitude, consists of voluntary, self-sustaining, value-based functions of courage, identification, internalization, and initiative. So basically, when trying to build discipline, it's gonna feel like you're not. It's gonna feel forced at first. That's what boot camp is. It's forced, until it becomes a pattern, which is kind of what the 75 hard challenge is trying to encompass. And it's basically, that's what it is doing a set thing every day to build discipline. At first, you're just faking it until you make it, until you actually make it. But yeah, that was a really cool piece of information I didn't know I needed, but I'll take into consideration. Now, into the final part, my experience with the 75 hard challenge. I was selling myself this false idea that I could become my ideal self in 75 days, or anything less than a year. And it was setting me up for failure. For me, the 75 hard challenge just didn't work. It didn't make sense for the goals that I was trying to accomplish. Yes, I was trying to lose weight, but I'm not that overweight already. I'm like a little bit over, and I literally only need to lose like 10 pounds, maybe 15. But that's not the point. It wasn't sustainable for me. It wasn't something that I felt like I could achieve to every day. I failed. But a little bit about my high school background is before COVID, I was a pretty healthy size for my age. I struggled with my sodium intake and my portion control from time to time, so my face was always kind of like bloated and was very uncomfortable. But all of those things were heavily exacerbated once the first lockdown happened, and it continued into my junior year. I was eating full packs of Oreos. I was eating full bags of chips. It was a mess. It was a lot going on. My family during that time was going through a lot of changes, and I found comfort in food. And I am very much so an emotional eater, and that's actually something I learned this year. But during my 11th grade year, I felt very isolated and anxious, and I wasn't really around anyone my age, and I just stopped caring. I was really going through a depressing time. It was not the best time for me. But I did finally go back to school senior year, and that's when I kind of realized, okay, there's a problem. But then the next dilemma came. I got my first job at Walmart. Yeah, and I had trouble controlling myself with the extra freedom of, okay, now I have money, now I can eat whatever I want. And I remember my face was going through a really bad breakout. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to graduate in a few months, and my face looks crazy. It was a lot going on. Yeah. So I stopped working there, and then I started working at Perkins as a server, and I eventually became shift lead. So then I had free meals every shift, and again, but with Perkins, I was walking to work every day, and it was about an hour-long walk every day to work. So I was eating whatever I wanted, but I was kind of walking, and it was kind of like I'd have my highs and lows. But let's just say I don't work around food anymore. I got to my biggest weight last year, 2024. I was 160 pounds in May, and I lost 15 pounds by like July 10th. That was a little bit after my birthday, and then after that, during like the rest of the year, I gained 5 pounds back, and now I'm back at 150. Isn't that great? But yeah, high school, it wasn't a great time for me, and college wasn't really either. And I've always, kind of had struggles with emotional eating, and I'm going back to therapy to kind of discover more of what that's about, because I don't think I have like a binge eating disorder. I just think when things happen, so does food. So yeah, but when I originally started my 75 hard challenge, I had 5 goals. One was to get to 140 to 145 pounds, which the second one was 10K followers on TikTok. I wanted to be a little TikTok influencer so bad, and I think I'm actually gonna go back to it, and I kind of figured out what I'm gonna do with TikTok content, but I wasn't really feeling inspired, and I didn't really have a plan because I was trying to put too much of, oh, I want to do TikTok, but my real love is for YouTube. My real passion is YouTube. I've always loved YouTube, and I kind of didn't really understand TikTok, and I always think of TikTok as like, you know, just a quick, just fast thing, and it wasn't working out, and I was writing down all these ideas but never really executing them, and then I was having the fear of being perceived, and it was this and it was that, and the next one I wanted to do, the third one, was make 10K online through TikTok, and then through the two other things that I'm going to talk about, which was get a brand deal and get a wig promo. None of those things I accomplished because I never even stuck to the daily tasks that I was creating for myself. I never stuck to the plan. I never did what I said I was gonna do. I spread myself too thin, and I gave up before I even got started. I made excuses, I put things off, I didn't do the work, I didn't hold myself accountable, I was very self-critical of myself. It wasn't a great time. But through learning that, I've come up with several other tools and several other things that now, this time around, when I try to achieve my goals, I will have better success. Still hard for me to say that. It's hard for me to even sit here and film this video because I'm just so scared of what's gonna happen. But I guess I'm just gonna embrace the fear. Hi guys, I had a certain envisionment for how I wanted this video to go, and I feel like instead of striving for perfection right now, I'm just going to choose to strive to get started. And that's kind of just the whole point in my channel. It's like, yes, it will be super fun and educating, and yeah, but like, I'm human and I'm in my 20s, and I'm trying my best. I've only been doing this for 20 years. So I just made a few closing notes on the things that I wanted to say, and this probably won't be the last recording. I might make another like real sit down recording, but I just wanted to add this part in because I felt like this is essential and imperative to the journey. And that's what my channel just kind of is. It's just, we're all 20. We're just trying to navigate everything. Something that I wrote was just start somewhere and say fuck it. You just gotta get started. You can't strive for perfection every single time, or the first time you try something. You just have to try it, and then just with time it gets better. And then I also have don't worry about others' progress, journeys, or your slip-ups. I think when you're striving to start yourself in life, or I can't say everyone else, but I can say definitely for me, when I feel like I'm trying something different, or I want to start learning more about something, I always look at what everyone else is doing, and then I just get in my head and I overthink and I procrastinate, and it's just really bad. And I watch a million self-help videos that don't really even help, and it's really just procrastinating, and it's so much that kind of happens. And I feel like, you know, as the year goes on and as I progress my channel, we'll probably talk more about it. I do want to mention that I am an adult with ADHD who is just now accepting it. I was diagnosed when I was 6, but I never known was everything will happen in due time, not 75 days. And before I elaborate on that, I'm gonna say the next one too. I also wrote down attaching the need to feel accomplished and successful at the end of the challenge instead of thinking of it as a stepping stone to where I am going. I wanted to have everything at the end of the 75 days. I wanted to be everything at the end of the 75 days, and that just isn't possible. Like, everything that I was achieving to during that challenge, like, that was crazy. 100 points a day. And you have to do this. Like, yes, great. We're figuring out, I'm so sorry, my chair is so squeaky, but you're figuring out how to, like, work with your dopamine and everything, but, like, you can't, like, that is ridiculous. Like, just start somewhere. You know, like, maybe it's helpful to do it week by week. I find that approach is really helpful, but trying to do everything every day, you just can't. You have your days, you have your emotions. There's so many things that are happening. I'm a woman, I'm a female, and like, my body is on a set clock, and there's so many moving parts to being a human. And also, I'm a single adult paying a lot of money to live on my own, and for the riches. I'm kidding, but life is very expensive, and I just feel like I'm having a really big, like, oh my gosh, I'm getting older moment, and I just need to just start being an adult about more things, and expressing my creativity when it's time to do that, but also being an adult when it's time to do that, and having enough discipline within myself to live. But more than just to have the discipline so that I can have the life that I enjoy, that I envision, and just not always worry about being so perfect, and more just focus on striving for something, just striving to have something to look back on and to have the experience, because now it's like I'm 20 and I could have been like, I've been doing YouTube for 4 years now, and I can't say that. Like, that's the number one thing I feel like I'm most envious about when I watch other creators. It's like they have it under their belt now, and it's like, it's something that I wanted to do for so long, and I kept procrastinating and holding it off, and making myself feel small, and making myself not trust in myself or believe that I could even do it. I would doubt myself before I even got started. So I'm working on that. I'm working on figuring out why that was and how I stop it, and just not listening to that, and kind of putting that in storage, because, like, I just don't want to live by fear, and I don't want to just wake up like 5 years from now and still be like, damn, I've done nothing. I've done nothing that I've wanted. I've done nothing that's made me happy. I'm so concerned about what other people think about me. I'm so concerned about all the negative things that I think of in my head, and I'm not happy. I don't want to wake up 5 years from now and not be happy again, and not at least say I tried. Like, because, you know, if I start a YouTube channel and it doesn't do anything in 5 years, and I don't have anything to show for it, at least I can say I tried. Because I wouldn't want to get 5 years from now and be like, damn, you still didn't try. You still just got all these ideas in a notebook. You still just, what are you doing? You know? Another thing that I wrote down is delayed gratification is underrated. My mom always says that to me. I remember when I was a teenager, she would always talk about delayed gratification. I was like, ugh, whatever, Mom. But she's so right. She's so right. Yeah. Like, the feeling of actually achieving something after you've had it on your list for so long is, like, way more rewarding. Like, think of when you make a shopping list and you go and you act on that immediately, versus you make a shopping list and it's, or like a wish list, and then you just slowly check things off. When you check something off of that big list that you've had just sitting there for like 6 months, that feels so much more rewarding listen to me about procrastination. But delayed gratification is underrated, and I need to start looking more towards that and looking more towards how can I help Syncerety 9 months from now? How can I help Syncerety a month from now? What can I do every day? Because every day builds upon itself. It's a compound. The more you get yourself into trouble, the more you get yourself behind, the longer it's going to take to catch back up. So that's what interest is. It's literally like you have to be a part of the capitalistic society. Anyways. And then the last thing that I wrote down was I don't want to always feel the need to be better. It's exhausting. It's that feeling of always feeling like I need to achieve something and always feeling like I need to be better and I can't be in the present and I need to be thinking about the future and all of that. That has made me so anxious to the point where I just like almost black out in a sense and just go down like crazy mental benders and twists, and then like several months later I have a mental breakdown and then I just do the whole thing over again. And it's like I can just take it day by day and just help myself for the next month and progress myself to the next month. And like delayed gratification is underrated, and I need to start looking more towards that and looking more towards how can I help Syncerety 9 months from now? How can I help Syncerety a month from now? What can I do every day? Because every day builds upon itself. It's a compound. The more you get yourself into trouble, the more you get yourself behind, the longer it's going to take to catch back up. So that's what interest is. It's literally like you have to. And then the last thing that I wrote down was I don't want to always feel the need to be better. It's exhausting. It's that feeling of always feeling like I need to achieve something and always feeling like I need to be better and I can't be in the present. I need to be thinking about the future and all of that. That has made me so anxious to the point where I just like almost black out in a sense and just go down like crazy mental benders and twists, and then like several months later I have a mental breakdown and then I just do the whole thing over again. And it's like I can just take it day by day and just help myself for the next month and progress myself to the next month. Life is intended to be lived slowly, not fast and selfishly. Life doesn't need to be a battle or challenge of any sort. I'm starting to learn my habits and patterns as well as triggers and boundaries. I'm working on putting actions behind my thoughts and overcoming my mind, because it would make no sense for me to try to become my highest self without knowing myself and how I work. I can't get rid of certain habits until I learn to be nice to myself about my mistakes and shortcomings. It also would make no sense for me to try to complete a 75 hard challenge that worked strongly for people I don't know. Now, kudos to you if the 75 hard worked for you, but I'm on another journey. A journey that requires me to be more mindful of my consciousness and commitment to things. I am doing lots of journaling and seeking God, filtering out what I watch and participate in, being meticulous about what I do with my time, doing the things I say I will. I don't necessarily want to transform into anything. I just want to become myself. I can't do that in 75 days. It kills the human experience. It takes the meaning of life. Life is to be lived. Delayed gratification is something our generation wasn't rewarded. With the rise of technology, a different tech product, and a new innovation coming out every year, things were constantly changing for us, and we couldn't do anything but adapt to it. Now we have serious addictions to technologies, and even more people are being diagnosed with mental instabilities. Get off the damn phone. Stop trying to accomplish your higher self for a certain number of days and being stupid strict with yourself for no reason. Just breathe. You are right where you need to be. If you aren't present with yourself, mindful of yourself and the people you care about, or able to show up for yourself in a healthy way, you should probably start there. I hope this video touched everyone in some way. I hope I could be a voice of reason, or maybe I even encouraged you to start the 75 hard challenge. I don't know. But I hope if I did anything, I hope I encouraged you to live.